welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about the new Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palette. This is the first eyeshadow palette from Patrick Ta's brand. This happens to be one of my favorite makeup brands. I'm looking at a bunch of products I have in front of me from Patrick Ta that I absolutely love and use every single day. I rave about his products all the time. Basically, these lip products are the only lip products I've worn in the past year. So I was so excited to see that he was coming out with an eyeshadow palette, and this one has 12 shades. It retails for $68. So it is a very pricey palette. It's getting into that Charlotte Tilbury, Natasha Denona territory, basically the same price point as those brands. And I think he can get away with it. I feel like his brand is definitely a bit more pricey overall than something like Tarte, Too Faced, Anastasia Beverly Hills, those brands, but it's not quite up there. It's kind of like an hourglass price point. And honestly, if it was any other brand coming out with this palette, maybe I wouldn't have picked it up for the price point, but I was definitely curious to see what he was coming out with and what kind of formula would be released with his first eyeshadow palette, because I love every other product he releases. This palette is definitely very unique. It's definitely a neutral palette, so it's a very similar color scheme to a lot of neutrals out there. It reminds me of like ABH Soft Glam, even reminds me of like an old palette like Tarte Toasted, something like that. All of those throwback neutral palettes, but I really think that this is like the 2021 version of those neutral palettes, because we have two shades here that are creams, and this is very traditional in his brand. He does cream contours, cream blushes that are duos, so I really like that he incorporated some creams in here. And then we have a bunch of glitter shades, some mattes, some different finishes. We have some glitter toppers over here in this one as well. These three shades are all glitter toppers, so they're a little bit more of like a chunky formula. If you look at these shades, they're definitely something that you're going to want to use with these cream bases, or maybe some glitter glue, or wet your brush, but it's definitely going to be more of a chunky glitter texture. And that's not necessarily my favorite shimmer formula, but I do like it in combination with the creams. I think that they work really nicely together. And then we also have this metallic shade that is a completely different finish from these three glitters over here, so you get some variety with your shimmers for sure. And then we also have a few different finishes within the matte shades. So all of these mattes are just pretty standard, these four. And then this one has a little bit of a glitter to it, and I feel like a lot of people don't like mattes that have a little glitter reflect to them, but it's literally my passion. I love shades like that. I feel like it helps transition shades. It helps diffuse out the outer corner. I love a matte that has a little bit of a glitter fleck. I feel like it just makes everything look really cohesive. And then this other shade right here has a little bit of a satin finish to it, which is a really pretty shade for your brow bone, for your inner corner. So it really reminds me of just his overall makeup styles, the different eyeshadow looks he does on people. And it really reminds me of like a makeup artist palette, because there's a lot of different textures, a lot of different finishes, but within that neutral color family. So I'm gonna get right into a look with this palette. I'm gonna start off with this medium nude shade. You can see there's some fallouts going on there. These are very soft shadows. So soft, in fact, that this is my second palette. If you guys follow me on TikTok, I had a little unfortunate instance with the first palette that I ordered online at Sephora. I had it thrown at my door when delivered, and it completely shattered, and it made me so mad, because I was originally, the day this palette came out, I was gonna go in store to Sephora, and then I was lazy. I'm like, no, I don't have time to do that today. Let me get it online so I don't have to like go to the mall and deal with that for a few hours. I had to go to the mall and get this palette anyways, because the one I ordered ended up shattered, but it's okay. Sephora customer service is always awesome to me. I've had different issues with palettes being stolen in the past, or just makeup packages from Sephora being stolen from my doorstep, and they've replaced it no problem. So shout out to Sephora for letting me get a replacement palette really easily. Just look at how easily these shades blend. This is honestly a very beginner friendly palette for sure. I think this is one of those foolproof palettes. Like, I have been playing with swatches and I did a different look that's gonna be on my Instagram this week, and I absolutely loved creating it because I feel like I look like I spent a lot more time on my makeup than I did. So I'm gonna go in with one of these cream shadows. I'm using the lighter one, and the cream shadows, you can see they're both kind of dark. I wish that he did like this kind of, they're both dark honestly. So I wish he did this and then a lighter cream base so that you can have a lighter cream to use alongside these. I don't know why they're both kind of like pretty dark brown shades, but I'm gonna use this just on my lid. And I did this with a different look and it just works so beautifully. And these actually, once you blend them out, they do dry matte. So, oh, I kind of messed up right here, but like this in itself, that's it. That's a look in itself, like 2 seconds, and you have this like beautiful, well, I could blend it a little more, but you have a beautiful smoky eye and it's foolproof. Like, I feel like I'm in an infomercial because this is really an easy palette to work with. So just like that on its own, this is basically a look, and the matte shade is basically dry already. I've been like swatching the mattes and let them like sit on my arm for like 5-10 minutes and they stay in place. So I wouldn't necessarily do the cream all the way up to my brow bone. I think you're gonna get some creasing, but I think you could just do the cream by itself on your lid and you'll be good to go and just use like a transition shade. But we're gonna keep going, and I'm gonna use this peach shade because I did do a different look with some of these darker colors for an Instagram reel, and I'm just gonna apply this. Oh, that's gorgeous. All over the lid. You can definitely build it up more with a wet brush, but sometimes when it's like a glittery formula and you do a wet brush, it can get very chunky very quickly and it just looks too textured and it doesn't look seamless. So I would much rather apply it like this with just a lighter application with my finger and then use the cream base underneath. All right, so I feel like that is a look within itself. I do want to add one more transition shade. I'm going to use one of my favorite shades in the palette, this metallic shade right here. Ooh, we're getting some moody lighting. I am still figuring out, honestly, you guys, my background, even what room I'm filming in, if I want to stay in this room, because I have some natural light going on, but it's getting a little bit intense here. Never ever filmed with natural light. I've always filmed in rooms that were completely windowless or looked into an alleyway or something. So this is a very new situation. So I might have a little bit of a different background, different angles going on for a couple videos. All right, so we have this metallic shade in my outer corner and I'm just diffusing that up to my crease. I kind of dig shimmers in the crease. Like, I've always done that. I feel like it looks good. Like, I love that look. I feel like it gives you that glossy eyelid look. Oh, and I did actually pick up one of the Patrick Ta eyeliners. These are new as well. I got the shade Deep Bronze. There are 4 shades. Mine got a little bit misshapen in that same delivery with my broken palette. I could have probably exchanged this, but I'm like, let me at least hang on to one thing that I got in that Sephora order. So this is a really, really creamy formula. There's also a matte brown, a black, and I think a cream, but I definitely wanted the bronzy shade. I love a sparkly brown eyeliner. All right, and then I'm gonna add in this matte shade with the glitter to my lower lash line, and I did already apply some mascara on my top lashes. And I'm also adding a little bit of this dark brown kind of burgundy shade in the outer corner of my lower lash line. All right, so I finished up with lashes and a lip color, and then the only thing that's missing is that brow bone highlight and inner corner highlight. So I'm just gonna take this shade, the eggshell color, that's a satin, and just apply that in my brow bone. I just love a really subtle brow bone highlight and a little inner corner. We are all done with this look. Super, super simple. I feel like every look that I'm gonna do with this palette is gonna be like a 5-minute look, and it's gonna look so good. It really reminds me of the excitement that I would get when Anastasia would release a new palette, like when Soft Glam came out, Norvina, all of those palettes came out. Like, those looks were so easy to do and they looked incredible with such minimal effort, and it brings me back to that excitement of getting like a really glam look in under 5 minutes. And that's what I love with an eyeshadow palette. And then I'm also wearing 2 Patrick Ta products on my lips. The lipstick in Ochi Single, it's just this nude shade that I have been wearing. This is the only lipstick I've worn in the last year. And then the Silky Lip Cream in Cheese Unapologetic. This is a really light shade, so I just have this in the center and I have this all over. The one that's my favorite that I wear like every day, at least several times a week, is Cheese Independent. This is one of my favorite lip products of all time. Like, every product he releases, I absolutely love. So I feel like this is the palette that I'm gonna hit pan on by the end of the year, and I am very much in love with this palette. All right, so overall, I would say that there are 2 things that I would change with this palette to make it the perfect neutral, everyday, every night, no matter what palette. The 2 things are, I would take out one of these cream colors and replace it with a light taupe color. That way, when you use these 2 shades in particular, because these are such gorgeous glitter shades for any kind of look, that way these stay true to color and don't get too deep when you have these as the base. So that's what I would do. I would keep this more medium tone one and replace the deeper one with a light tan shade. And then I would replace one of these 3 glitters and maybe do a metallic with this peach shade, just like we have the metallic with this deeper shade. That way we have a metallic deep shimmer, a metallic lighter shimmer, and then a light glitter shade and a deeper glitter shade. I feel like that would really tie in all the different formulas of the palette. But other than that, I definitely see this as a palette I'm probably gonna use the most the rest of this year. I love this brand. I love this color story. I love the different textures, different formulas in here. I love all the shades in here. I think I'm gonna use all of the shades equally. There's not a shade I'm not gonna use in this palette. I am in love with it. I love Patrick Ta's brand, so I know I'm biased in that way because it's my favorite brand. But this color story is also my favorite. I love the different textures. I love the different shades. It has every shade that I would wear for the rest of the year and not get sick of. So this is like my perfect palette, other than those 2 minor things. But honestly, I'm still gonna use everything in here. With that being said, is it worth $68? I don't know. It is to me. It was worth it to me. Does it perform better than a $50 palette? No, not necessarily, but it is a bit different because of the different textures, the different formulas, the different finishes in here. So it's not just your standard neutral palette that's half matte and half shimmer. You get some more variety that can give you different types of looks, different finishes with your looks, very basic looks, very dramatic looks. So you get that in there that gives you more variety than some of your standard $40, $50 palettes. But is the formula something I've never seen before in my life? No, definitely not. All right, so that's gonna be everything for this review of the new Patrick Ta Major Dimensions eyeshadow palette. Let me know your thoughts about it. Let me know if you think it's worth the $68 price point. I do think it is a bit overpriced, but I definitely have a soft spot for this brand. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All of the makeup that I'm wearing today, the palette, all of the Patrick Ta products I mentioned will be listed in my description box. Also, if you want to see some quick daily makeup updates, I do those on my Instagram stories, and also I love to take you guys shopping with me on my TikTok, so I will leave all of that linked below as well. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you guys soon in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.